Well, good evening. This is Houndog Steve wishing you a very pleasant evening, and I hope this finds you well. And this is just a quick follow-up to the Jordan Peterson situation. And as you probably know, Jordan Peterson has been told by the Ontario Board of, or the Ontario College of Psychologists, that he must submit to a re-education program regarding social media posts or risk losing his license. Now, there is a petition going around, and that I will link below, and I'm hoping that you will all take a moment to sign that petition and to share it far and wide with everyone you know. Now, Jordan Peterson has filed for a judicial review. He's fighting back against this with a court challenge, and so he should. And this is just like the Lindsay Shepherd thing at Wilfrid Laurier University, you know, where this young teaching assistant was pulled into a secret meeting with 3 of her professors because she had used some of Jordan Peterson's material in a teaching segment as part of her class, and she thankfully recorded the whole thing. The university was disgraced over trying to crush freedom of speech. And this from the Globe and Mail. Wilfrid Laurier University exonerates TA Lindsay Shepherd. Wilfrid Laurier University has completely exonerated Lindsay Shepherd after a report from an independent investigator found that no student ever complained formally or informally about a video the teaching assistant screened in the class earlier this fall. So it was all trumped up charges because these professors had an agenda and an ideology. But it's the fact that these unelected officials, whether it be university lecturers, board members, the College of Physicians and Surgeons, the College of Psychologists, they all operate in secret behind closed doors. They don't want anyone looking in. They don't want the light of day to shine upon what they are doing, because they know that this would not be approved of if it came to the light of the general public. And thank God Jordan Peterson has the financial wherewithal to make a challenge like this and make it very, very public. Anyway, I'm just going to read a couple of segments from the Toronto Sun, an article here about the judicial review and some of Jordan Peterson's comments. Okay, here we go. From the Toronto Sun, Lily. Jordan Peterson launches court challenge as College of Psychologists attempts to pull license over social media posts. And this was January 4th, 2023. The complaints against him and the attempts to pull his license are all political, Jordan Peterson tells me over the phone. He's decided to finally push back against the College of Psychologists of Ontario after a demand that he submit to social media re-education or lose his license. Peterson has filed an application for judicial review with the Ontario Divisional Court, and he's now speaking openly about the barrage of politically motivated complaints. On Tuesday, Peterson took to Twitter, the social media platform that could be called the scene of his many crimes, to say enough is enough. I practiced for 20 years without being investigated. This only started when I became a prominent public figure, Peterson said it in a phone interview Wednesday morning. He said that ever since he rose to public prominence in 2016, he'd been facing non-stop complaints. He's had to hire a lawyer to handle the complaints with the college. Part of what is happening is an attempt at lawfare by people opposed to what Peterson says and believes. A review of some of the complaints shows people who don't live in Canada using American examples to ask the college to punish Peterson over a social media posting. In January 2022, Peterson was tweeting that the world could handle a larger population if handled right, something that goes against the mantra claimed by some that we are overpopulated and harming the planet. Roger Palfrey, a man who describes himself as a scientist and educator, said he disagreed and claimed the world is already overpopulated. You're free to leave at any point, Peterson tweeted. And here's a tweet right here. The American behind the complaint said that Peterson was advocating suicide, a leap in logic if ever there was one. Another complaint was filed against Peterson in February 2022 when he questioned the wisdom of Ottawa's interim police chief Steve Bell, saying that he was looking at how to remove children from the Freedom Convoy protest site in Ottawa. Peterson tweeted a video of the statement and said, "Children removed. How exactly? Why exactly? By whom exactly? Sent to where exactly? And for how long exactly? Think this through, Canadians. This is a bad decision." The complaint is that Peterson, as a psychologist, must report children at risk. Whatever your political view of the convoy, there was not, at any time, any evidence of children being at risk from being present, just a political opposition to the protest and therefore to children being present. And it just goes on and on and on like that. He said the politicisation of the colleges regulating professions in Ontario and across Canada puts the care and legal advice we all receive at risk because professionals will be afraid to give their best advice. That was a sentiment backed up by one lawyer who emailed Wednesday to support Peterson. Every lawyer in Canada should be working pro bono on this case. It affects all of us, no matter one's politics, the lawyer said. Of course, statements like this need to be made quietly to make sure the law society doesn't come calling. And as I said, this is so dark and dystopian because it really does put a chill on anybody wanting to speak honestly if they feel that it might disagree with these unelected bureaucrats. Jordan Peterson has decided to fight back by launching a court challenge. It's a battle he needs to win and one everyone should back him on. So sign that petition, please. So this reveals the very dark side of these people's nature and the nature of the regime. I mean, it is just, this is so in your face, and this is happening all across North America, Europe, bureaucracies all over the place are taking charge in secret and acting like they have some kind of power and control over our lives. And of course, if we just refuse to accept this, it will stop. It will end overnight. You know, there are way more of us than them. These people are unelected. They have no rights over you. They have no control over you. This is really just their opinion. And, you know, you can see when you read through the requirements that the board is expecting, you know, that basically any of the rules can be changed at a moment's notice in private, and you have no right to speak up about this. It will be completely public. Okay, all their stuff is in secret. Oh, but no, what you're doing with the coach, oh, don't you love that term, for re-education, that's completely public. Because they want to stain you, they want to smear you, and again, that's what they do. It's this secretive, filthy, you know, behind the scenes, this to take away your good name. But anyway, it's clear when you read the conditions, he will never be done. He will never reach a standard which is acceptable to the board, because again, they can change flavor of the day. They can bring up any aspect of this at any time from his past and say, oh, well, what about this? And what about that? And we are going to be subject to the same kind of thing. You know, if you accept the digital ID, you know, this is not such a jump. You know, when you think of the freezing of people's bank accounts, when you think of the shutting down of a country's SWIFT system, when you talk about destroying someone's reputation, character assassination, turning maybe not the enemy into a boogeyman, so it seems like the enemy, these are all of the things that we are going to be subjected to in order that these people can stay hidden. They're going to make you the sacrificial lamb. And like I say, it'll never be perfect. There will always be something. There will always be something. And if you do cave, in the end, well, of course they've won if you cave. And most people could not withstand, you know, this kind of attack. So again, I ask you to please sign that petition. Speak out about this. Let people know. Put it on your Facebook page so that we can share far and wide the kind of dystopia, very dark dystopia that we are slipping into in this country. And I can assure you the time to speak up is now, because if you don't speak up now, you will risk being shut down and not being able to access anything, just as they do in China under the social credit system. You say the wrong thing, and again, that could be subject to flavor of the day. And all of a sudden, you can't get into your bank account. You can't travel. You can't get a cab. You can't do anything. Can't post. Everything is connected to social media, and you're just completely shut down. So, yes, let us talk about this far and wide. Let us opine on free speech and the value of free speech, even if it offends you. Even if it offends you. And that is a sacrifice we must all make for the sake of free speech. Okay, so if you've enjoyed this video, please like, comment and subscribe below. And in the meantime, this is Houndog Steve wishing you a very pleasant evening, and we'll talk very, very shortly. You take care now. See ya. Bye.